The nervous system interprets and transfers information as changes in electrical activity. Most insecticides are toxic because they disrupt the electrical functions of the nervous and muscular systems. In order to understand how insecticides poison the nervous and muscular systems of an animal, let us look more closely at the events that occur at the cell membrane of neurons and muscle cells where insecticides exert their toxic actions. All cells, including neurons and muscle cells, have an outer membrane that maintains an electrical charge between the outside and the inside of the cell. The outside of a neuron is positive and the inside is negative. The electrical charge is the result of an unequal distribution of electrically charged chemicals called ions. In a normal cell, most of the positive sodium ions are on the outside of the cell membrane. Sodium channels are proteins embedded in the cell membrane that can open up and allow sodium ions to diffuse into the cell because of their higher concentration on the outside. Generally, sodium channels are closed and the sodium ions are unable to move into the cell. Occasionally, some sodium ions leak into the cell, but they are quickly removed by other proteins in the membrane called sodium pumps. When a nerve impulse forms, the sodium channels open and the sodium pump is inactivated in the region of the impulse. Opening the sodium channels allows positive sodium ions to flow into the axon along their concentration gradient. In the region of the action potential, the outside of the membrane becomes negative and the inside becomes positive. The localized depolarization of the membrane causes nearby sodium channels to open ahead of the impulse so that the depolarization spreads progressively forward along the axon membrane. As the negative depolarization of the impulse passes along the axon, the sodium channels regain their ability to close, and the sodium pumps behind the impulse reactivate to pump the sodium ions out of the neuron and reestablish the normal polarized state of the membrane, with the outside positive and the inside negative. In this manner, the wave of negative depolarization is conducted along the length of the axon as an action potential and conveys information about the stimulus from one end of the axon to the other. Let us next describe the synapse. This is the point of contact between two neurons where information is transferred, and it serves as a major site for the action of insecticides.